taken a lot of plays on this team, and I don't know if I have any confidence in them.
69. Nice.
We're getting to a point with the show where we're throwing out some nice little spots here for people.
It scares me because it's cashed so much this year. Literally a 100% hit rate so far this year. Typically, that means he's due to not cash. Not to toot our own horn here, but we're pretty good.
Not to toot our own horn, but to toot the hell out of our own horn. All right, welcome to H2H, the NFL pick show in which Tasos and I battle it out each and every week. Tasos, I am coming off of it was a narrow win, but still a win from last week. I'm now 5 and 6 on, 6-2 on the season. Did I just predict something? No,
6-2. Uh-oh.
6-2 on the season as we head into week 9. You had rattled off 2 wins in a row. I kind of, put a little water on the flame. How you feeling?
I was watching back last week's video just like, to see the results. And obviously, we both had good weeks. We both went 3-1.
Yep.
What hurts is that I tried to use the double down after the fact. Had I done, and you know what? It was on me. Scared money don't make no money. You know what? I pissed down my leg. And I didn't use it, and then I tried to go back afterwards and didn't. Had I used the double down like I wanted to, I would have won last week.
Which play was the double down on?
The teaser spread, because both my teasers hit last week. So
yeah, big. You've not lost a teaser in 3 weeks.
No, we're now 4-0 on teasers here on the show.
I don't understand it. But yeah, so if you double down on that, you would have I think I made 2-point-something units. You were like 1.7, 1.8. So it was super, super close. Yeah, if you had doubled down on even any of your plays, you would have cashed. Now, Tutu Atwell was my only miss last week. All of a sudden, Puka Nacua is just playing like that.
I got lucky there.
I mean, I knew Cooper Kupp. I talked about Cooper Kupp in the video. We do record this earlier in the week, obviously, but all of a sudden I saw Puka. Those are my only plays. I got ragged on the Thursday night video. I got ragged in the H2H comments, but you know what? It's whatever. That kind of came out of nowhere, and then he looked back to his old self. So I guess shout out to Puka and Tutu Atwell. His role in the offense is gone. But Tasos, we for people that are not aware of what the show is, essentially we go back and forth giving our plays. We don't get to decide exactly what plays we like to roll with. We spin a wheel to determine the bet category, and we got a little proposition to anyone watching and anyone in the comments this week. We're looking for another edition of the Wheel Slice. So let us know a bet category that you want to see in there. Right now we have spread, total, money line. We have Thursday night, player prop, plus money play. Let us know one that you think we should add in there. And if we pick something, Tasos, and we roll with it next week, we'll give that person a shout out. Does that sound good?
Sounds absolutely good. I mean, listen, guys, you want to throw a teaser slice in there? I'm just saying, teasers, we've been going crazy. 4-0. That's 4-0 on teasers right now.
If I allow a teaser slice in there, I'm already like handicapping myself now. I'm already at a disadvantage. The big tease just strikes again. It is absolutely crazy. But guys, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We are still grinding our asses off to 100,000 subscribers, which is crazy to say out loud. But, for years now, Tasos and I have put work into this channel, and just to see how far it's come is incredible. So go ahead and hit that like button. And if you are new and can help us out, hit that subscribe button. Both those completely free to you guys, but helps us out a ton. So go ahead and do that. But Tasos, ready to jump into week number 9?
I'm ready. You know what? We're still, I can't beat myself up too much because I still had a good week.
You did
3-1. Just gotta find a way to beat you on that unit play. You just been I gotta give you your props. Like no bullshit. Like you've had a great season. I can't crap on it. There's nothing. I mean, this is now. I went back to the records to show. I've now lost 6 weeks of H2H. In 4 of those 6 weeks, we tied, but you beat me on a units play.
No kidding.
It's like we're both having pretty decent seasons. I had 2 pretty crappy weeks to start, but we're neck and neck. It's just the units, man. You've gotten good with those LTM plays.
And think about it. I went 8-0 on Sunday. My wins were like I lost the Tutu Atwell play, which was Thursday, and then I went 8-0 on my video picks on Sunday. So how are you gonna necessarily compete with that? I guess it's tough. But you did go 3-1 as well. Technically, all the picks you gave cashed. Or no, excuse me. The Packers didn't.
2-1.
75% from both of us on the show. We give you guys 8 picks and 6 of them cashed. I don't think that's all that terrible. But
I should have went 4-0. If they don't slide at the end, the Packers they don't slide
fair
the
enough.
field goal. I would have been 4-0, and we would be, singing a different tune here.
Fair enough. But all right, let's go ahead and jump into this. You guys are going to see a wheel on your screen in just a second. What this wheel is going to say, it's going to have 3 Ev slices and 3 Tasos slices. And whoever this lands on, it goes first. It is a snake draft after that. Let's go ahead and spin it. The wheel has been, I feel like the wheel at the beginning of the year started super hot. Whoever was getting the wheel spins and what they wanted, was cashing and winning the weeks. Now I feel like we're kind of back at the, the mercy of the wheel, kind of just 50-50. And it looks
Yeah, I'm not
like
really.
if that
Looks like I'm gonna.
sits,
Looks like
yep,
I'm gonna get it here, which I don't mind. I mean, I'm, it is what it is. I don't mind if I get it. If I don't get it, I'm at the, like you said, we're at the mercy of the wheel here.
yep. All right, we're gonna spin another wheel here. So, bunch of wheels. Spin another wheel. It's gonna have the bet categories. I'm gonna shuffle them real quick. We have 2 money lines, 2 spreads, 2 totals, 2 player props. We also have 1 Thursday night prop and then 1 plus money play. Whatever this lands on, we have to take a pick in that category. After we get that category, remove that slice from the wheel. Tasos, before I do spin it, anything that you are eyeing this week?
I will say this is a very weird week. I don't know if you looked at the board. It's
Yeah.
some strange lines, some strange matchups, some interesting matchups. I'm feeling ballsy today though. I'm feeling pretty good. I like a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Maybe
Like you
not
used to
player props
say.
as much.
Like you used
Maybe
to say,
not
the
player
world's your
props as
oyster.
much. But
I have a couple player props that I do like, but all right, let's go ahead and spin it.
all right, let's go ahead and see here. It's gonna be player props, isn't it?
Nope.
Nope.
You're gonna get it. All right.
Total.
All right. So we're landing on a total 4 round number 1 here, and you're starting us off.
I am starting as that. Yep, that is how the wheel works.
That is tough for me to lose track before we've made any picks, but you know what?
That is how the wheel works.
It's not the first time.
It's all right. You know what? You're just all the wins are getting to your head a little bit. It's tough to keep track when you're having the season that you are. I get it. I understand. That's what happened last year with me.
Oh man.
But all right. I'm sticking with the strategy here on the totals. I've been doing it every week. It keeps working. So we're gonna stick with the big tease here. We got a 2-leg teaser. We're focused on the totals here. We're going to target the first one is the Raiders Bengals, which is the over at 46.5. We're doing a 7-point tease here, which will take that down to over 39.5. And then for the second leg, let me scroll down here. Again, sticking with the 7-point tease, I'm going Cowboys Falcons over 45. The straight line is 52, taking that down to 45. Those are both matches, like I keep talking about every week. Like these are matchups where I don't hate the total overall, but I just don't love it as much. But if you go ahead and take a touchdown off, it's just so much better to me. Both the Cowboys and Falcons defense, they're not very good. I think the Falcons will do most of the heavy lifting there when it comes to the scoring because Dallas's defense is absolutely how the Niners scored 30 points with that beat up offense. I don't know. But that game went 54. That Cowboys Niners game was a 54-point total. I think the Falcons defense is not as good as San Francisco. So I'm envisioning some points being scored there. I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring game in that matchup. And then look at the Raiders Bengals. 2 bad defenses. I mean, again, the Bengals will probably carry most of the scoring there. But the Bengals defense is not good either. The Eagles, 37 points. We've seen some teams go absolutely bananas scoring on this Bengals team. The Raiders are not great, but they still have some guys. They still have Jacoby Myers. They still have Brock Bowers. Gardner Minshew can at least throw a couple touchdowns here and there. I think that game's going to be, again, mostly Bengals, but 39.5, pretty low point total. The Bengals score 30. All you need is like 10 points from the Raiders, so which I think Raiders can get you 10 points against that Bengals defense. So I like that spot overall. I don't know. What are your thoughts there on the big tease?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think that the Raiders' contribution here kind of scares me a little bit. I wonder what you could have gotten for odds, even if you look at like a Bengals, just like if you just focus on that game, Bengals team total in that buying the points. I don't necessarily know, but who am I to say anything that you bring up in terms of a teaser is not rock solid? You've literally 4-0, meaning eight parties have been involved in these teasers and you've cashed in each and every one of them. So I do like it. I will say, like, I truly worry about the Raiders. Like the Raiders to me are a team that any given week they could put up like 7 points, which again, if you're accounting for the Bengals to carry the weight of it, then to your point, you only need maybe 10 or something from the Raiders, which is fair. But overall, that's my only concern. I don't really see much. I don't love that offense all that much, but the Bengals defense does stink.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, the Raiders have had some tough games. I mean, they haven't scored less than 10 points in any game this season, though. So, I mean, that's the data point in my favor. Like
Fair
I said,
enough,
if they can give us 10 points, I think Cincinnati should be able to score 30 in this game. Look at some recent matchups. I mean, the Raiders scored 20 points against Kansas City last week. The Chiefs scored 27, of course. So the overhit in that one. Pittsburgh versus them, the overhit. Broncos versus them, overhit. We have a couple games where this line did not hit, but overall, this over of 39.5 has cashed in the majority of Raider games this season. So at that tease total, it's been cashing pretty consistently. And like I said, both Cincinnati's offense should be able to go ahead and contribute some points here. I'm hoping T. Higgins is good to go. If he's good to go, obviously we're in a much better spot there. But yeah, and I'm not really concerned at all about the Falcons Cowboys game. Those are two teams.
I like that one. Yeah,
the points have been scored a lot, so that's my play. Like I said, I agree with you. I think that's the Raiders Bengals one's the scary part of it, because I definitely could see that being like a 24-10 Bengals win, which obviously would suck. But I'm gonna go ahead and ride with that.
All right, yeah, I don't necessarily mind it. And honestly, I think you've been pretty damn strategic in taking these, like picking the highest total on the board and using that within your teaser as well, because Vegas and the odds makers are already telling you that there should be a lot of points scored in that one.
Exactly. They're telling you points are going to be scored. It's just that getting over 50 points in the NFL is tough. I mean, no, it's not, this isn't college where teams are scoring 50, 60 points. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough.
Right, and there are playmakers on both the Falcons and the Cowboys. The team defenses haven't necessarily clicked yet, but there's guys that could change things. But overall, I think that still taking that down, would you say 7 points, right? I like that move. I'm going in another direction here. I'm actually looking at a team total under, which isn't something we've thrown out too much this year. I'm going to be taking my my talents here, my under talents, which I don't know if I have those yet, but hopefully I do, to the Chargers and the Browns. And I'm going to look at the Browns team total under. Let's see what I got it at. Browns team total under 21.5, minus 140 on an MGM. So a little bit juicy. I know that they looked a little bit better, and I give them that credit, right? Jameis Winston, you've been singing his praises. I understand it. But this is a legitimate Chargers defense, and 20.5 is not like a low number. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially 3 touchdowns from this Browns team. And again, yes, they look good last week, but they're facing a defense that's even better this week. A couple teams that I look at here now, obviously the Chargers have played some cupcake offenses. The Steelers, they put up 20 on them, so that's not a great look, but they played the Saints last week. A couple weeks ago, they played the Broncos, the Panthers, even the Raiders, but they did hold the Chiefs to 17 points. They held the Cardinals to 17 points, 2 offenses that I would consider a little bit better than the Browns. So under 20.5 points here for the Browns. I don't care what happens in the games. I'm not trying to tell you that the Chargers win this game or Winston doesn't win a 20-17 game. I just don't see the Browns scoring 21 points.
Yeah, I this is a good pick on your part. The only once this season has a team scored at least 20 points, and it's the Steelers, and they scored exactly 20. Right. No team has actually cashed this over on the Chargers yet this year. But again, let's be fair. The quarterbacks they faced, Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, Justin Fields, obviously Patrick Mahomes, they gave up 17 in that one. Bo Nix, Kyler, and Spencer Rattler. So yeah, it's tough because it is impressive, but you do have to keep intact. Like, these are a lot of bottom 10 defenses in the NFL on that list.
Yeah.
My biggest fear with you would be, I am a Jameis guy. This has been no secret. I don't know why I love some of these back, like Darnold, Winston. Some of these guys.
I like Jameis too. I don't think you're that crazy. I think Jameis somehow has like.
He's a player. He's a people.
But I feel like he should have been a starter for. I don't know. Keep going.
Oh, 100% should have. The guy has over 20,000 career passing yards, like 150 touchdown passes. He's been a backup for the last 5 years.
Is it because he throws an interception every time you blink? That's got to be the reason.
Well, it's, you know what, and this is why I say Jameis is, in my opinion, and this is crazy, I think he's the most fun quarterback in the NFL. I think there's no quarterback I'd rather watch than Jameis, and that's not because he's the best, but it's a roller coaster. Like, he's what Anthony Richardson was supposed to be. Where it's like one throw he can make is like the prettiest throw you've ever seen, and it's crazy. And the next one is like, how is this guy in the NFL? And that's how Jameis is. The one area I'd be a little bit concerned here is that if the Chargers go ahead and build a little lead here, which I think is possible, Jameis just chucks. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to keep throwing, and they throw the deep ball. I don't know if this Chargers defense has been tested quite that well.
Yep.
But I can't really hate it. I mean, the Chargers pass rush has been really good this year. It's top 10 in sacks. The Browns' offensive line obviously is a disaster. Like I said, I can't really hate on it. The Browns, we have one sample size game, and that was against a Ravens defense that's been pretty lackluster. So can't hate on it, but betting against Jameis is it's tough.
It's tough. Scary because it's almost like I'm thinking I'm buying low, but in reality, I'm almost gambling. You know what I mean? Like you don't really know if that was a flash in the pan with the Browns last week against a divisional, opponent, or if it was sort of the new norm. So I guess we'll see. The one constant,
the data is on your. I will say the data's on your side with those backup quarterback games. Typically, the first one, the backup quarterback comes in, it's unexpected, they get the win or they get the cover at least, and then the next game, people figure them out a little bit,
Yeah.
and they go back down to earth. I think the data is on your side there, so not a bad pick. I can't
All
hate
right.
on it.
All right, sounds good. I love when we're so agreeable. It makes the show go by nice and smoothly here. All right, we're gonna jump into the wheel again. Now that one total is out, so we only have one more total left on the wheel. And I'm going first here.
You are.
I either want. I think I might want to throw out a Thursday night pick. I think
Okay.
that's what I'm looking for. Let's see. Let's spin it.
How the Jets got in prime time again, I don't know. I don't know what the NFL is thinking, like putting them in prime time every single week. Oh, we're getting player props. Okay.
Okay, I don't mind that. In fact, I have a player prop for Thursday night that I think I'm going to go to here. I'm going to look at. I wonder where it'll come out on this one because it's not anything that is like alarmingly bad, but I could see someone saying, I don't think it happens. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers over 1.5 touchdown passes. So he's got to throw them, not just him scoring. It was 115 earlier. At the time, at plus 115, it's now better. It's plus 120 on DraftKings right now. This is a Houston team, and I talked about this in my Thursday night football video that comes out after this. This is a Houston team that has a very good defense, but when they get to the red zone, they're awful. They're allowing tons of touchdowns through the air in the red zone. They're the 30th ranked defense in terms of red zone efficiency. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't want to say quietly, but in 5 of his 8 games this season, he does have at least 2 touchdown throws. Now, he hasn't necessarily gone absolutely off. He has no more than 2 in those 5 games. But I like the spot here, especially with Devontae Adams there. You know he's going to keep trying to feed him and that type of thing. And the fact that Houston struggles against wide receivers in the red zone, Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams may kind of go off here, leading to Aaron Rodgers to get 2 touchdown passes for plus 120. Now, I'll kind of counter my own side here. The rest of the defense, so the other 80 yards of the field, Houston likes to pressure the quarterback. I think that the Jets have been fine against the sacks and the hits and whatnot, or excuse me, the hurries, the hits they struggle on. But Aaron Rodgers, I looked into his stats today, against pressure and whatnot, his numbers drop pretty drastically, like 65% completion percentage to 48. So it might be a struggle to get down into the red zone, but once they do, I like the spot for him.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I haven't actually got a chance to watch your video yet. I know it's not out publicly yet, but I don't know how you're leaning. I think the Jets, I've been burned by them way too much this year, but I do think this is finally the spot where they finally, I mean, they literally can't lose. I mean, if they lose one more game, they're not going to make the playoffs. I think we can all probably agree on that. But like mathematically, they're not done yet. But if they lose today, they would literally have to win out to have a shot. And I just don't like. I do think it's a good spot. A Texans team now they lose Stephon Diggs, they lose Nico Collins. This team has been kind of all their games have been these ugly, close, tight wins, and now they're losing more and more pieces. I like the Jets to have a little bit of a bounce back spot here. I think they got absolutely embarrassed by the Patriots. I don't know how they lost that game. But I agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers over 1.5 touchdowns is not a bad play.
For plus 122, for again, he's cashed in
value.
63% of games this year. Like, I like that. And you throw in that red zone efficiency, 2 of 3 home games too. Like he's got the hit rate this season.
I'll tell you what, Ev, the player props, you have been good on them this year. You find good value. That's a good one. That's a good one. I can't really hate on that one. Like,
hey, shout out to Outlier.
Yeah, Outlier, man. What's going on, everybody? Tasso here. Want to talk to you real quick about today's sponsor, Outlier. Outlier is hands down the best sports betting tool on the market today. It takes everything that you guys need, data, stats, insight, trends, patterns, everything that's necessary to go ahead and make smart sports betting choices, takes it all and consolidates it in one easy and convenient place. If you've seen any of our videos here on the channel, all of us use Outlier here at Guy Boston Sports. It's easy to use and puts you on the right track to winning some cash. But don't just take my word for it. Go ahead and check it out for yourself. Use the link down below in the description. You get a 7-day free trial to check Outlier out for yourself. That's right, guys. 7 days, completely free, no risk involved. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and cancel after 7 days, no cost to you. But if you do like it, after that, it's just $19.99 a month. And if you're making smart sports betting choices and you're hitting your bets thanks to Outlier, it basically pays for itself. So go ahead and check that link down below one more time, guys. 7-day free trial. So go ahead and check it out for yourself. Very special thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to me kicking Av's ass here in H2H. Outlier, man. For plus money, too, you really can't, like, it's just way too good not to at least throw something on. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You just can't beat that. So solid job there. I'm gonna go with one. It scares me because it's cashed so much this year, and typically that means he's due to not cash. I'm going CD Lamb here of the Dallas Cowboys over 25.5 yards for longest reception. Literally a 100% hit rate so far this year. He's averaging 38.29 in his yards is his longest reception. That's his average. He's had some big ones. I mean, but we've had some close cashes, right? 27 yards longest reception against the Steelers, 27 yards against Detroit, 29 against San Francisco. So some close cashes there. But I mean, 100% hit rate. It's hard for me to go ahead and fade that. And the Falcons this year are not a very good. We talked about it. Like their defense, not particularly great overall. Atlanta this season. Trying to bring up the numbers here and their pass defense here. 18th, 215.5 passing yards per game. So bottom half of the league. They're giving up a ton of yards. And again, who else do the Cowboys have to throw to but CeeDee Lamb here? Now, the one thing is he is matched up with AJ Terrell, who is obviously a very good corner. That concerns me a little bit, but the Atlanta Falcons are giving up nearly 140 receiving yards per game to opposing wide receivers. So, I mean, if they're getting 140 yards, you got to assume CeeDee Lamb's going to get a good chunk of those yards. And if he's getting a lot of yards, I mean, it's not crazy to think Dak Prescott's good for one or two big passes every game. Again, remember, longest reception also includes yards after catch and whatnot. So I think one big catch for CeeDee Lamb is not hard to see. Even last year, I mean, he cashed this at a 61% hit rate last year. 11 out of 18 games. So he's been consistently cashing this prop for quite some time now. 8 straight games dating back to last year. So risky, yes, -110 on DraftKings. But again, the data is far too good for me to go ahead and avoid. It's a pretty good matchup overall, too.
Yeah, I can't believe we're saying it, but I really like this play as well. One thing I'll note too in my NFL dashboard here, I have DVOA adjusted fantasy points defense versus position. So it's kind of like based on obviously all the factors, more of a advanced analytics way of looking at production per position. In Atlanta this season, allowing a 56% production increase to wide receiver ones. And there's no doubt who the wide receiver one is for the Cowboys, right? So I like that. Really. You know you're going to get shots as well. There's not many wide receivers. Even with, like, I guess Minnesota, like, as good as Justin Jefferson is, you can't always guarantee he's going to get these deep looks and whatnot because Sam Darnold isn't always a move it down the field type guy. You get a handful of chuck ups to CeeDee Lamb per game. So in this type of a spot, I think that there's actually like good volume and opportunity for a longest catch. So yeah, I don't mind it. I think that you could play CeeDee Lamb any which way you wanted. The one problem with CeeDee Lamb as he gets so good is that you're looking at 90 yards receiving is his line and things get a little bit crazy. So for the odds you're getting and the fact that he just keeps cashing it, and like you said, some of them are close, but like who cares? You know what I mean? That doesn't matter. He's still cashing it. So I think that's a fair spot.
Yeah, and the big thing too is just the targets. I mean, that's the other thing. Like like I said, Dak's good for at least one good deep throw a game or one, but like he's getting the production. The last 2 games has been crazy. 14 targets against Detroit, 17 targets against the Niners. Like he's literally all they have. They're throwing to him a ton. I actually kind of like his receptions props. He hit 13 catches last week against the Niners. Honestly, for me, the only fearful thing is that the public's going to be all over him for any player prop. The public's going to be hammering him for everything. And so that's the only concerning part. But like I said, I mean, it's 37.4 yards after catch. His average yards per reception is 14.5. Like, he's getting a lot of yards on these catches to begin with. So I think it's a good play for -110 too. Not bad value for a prop that he's cashing at a 100% hit rate. You really can't beat that.
Yeah, his average depth of target, that's how far the ball is even traveling, is 10 yards, which is good. You know what I mean? Like that is decent for, the ball being in the air. In terms of where he ranks with air yards too, it looks like that's pretty good. So that's all like that doesn't even matter. Like you said, you could take a screen and go for 26 yards in cash, but the fact that he's even getting these looks that take up a bunch of chunk in the air is absolutely massive. So yeah, I like that. I think that, we've been saying it all year that both of us keep having good weeks and we're battling it out. Like, I think that we're getting to a point with the show where we're throwing out some nice little spots here for people.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, actually, it's kind of interesting because, like, last year, and no, please don't take any offense to this, but like you give out some bad picks, but like I've done it too this year a couple times. But I think we're now in this nice stride where it's like it kind of makes it more challenging because nobody's giving out bad picks. It's now a matter of, okay, what are the better value? What's the better odds? Who's doubling down? Who's not? That's because like I said, we're both going 3-1 almost every week.
I know. It is pretty crazy. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Not to toot our own horn here, but we're pretty good.
but to toot the hell out of our own horn. Not to toot our own
Yep.
horn, but to toot the hell out of it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into round number 3 here. Now we are one less player prop on the board, one less total. Everything else is still the same. I know I've asked you a million times so far this show, but are you now looking at the board any differently? Do you want something specific?
Like I said, player props, I have options. I don't love them as much as I love some of the other things. I'm open to pretty much everything. Like I said, player props is probably my least favorite
Okay.
of the pie slices, but everything else, I'm good. I have a good number of picks.
All right, let's go ahead and spin it. That was my favorite player prop on the board too, so I wouldn't necessarily love another one, but I could make it work.
All right,
Is
looks like
that
we're
gonna
gonna
sit or spread?
spread. All right,
Okay, this is
got some
there's
options here.
a lot of
A
weird
lot of
spreads out
line,
there this week.
a lot of weird ones. Absolutely. Um, Gosh, what do I go with here?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go with this one because I think the public's going to overreact a little bit. I think this team's going to be really motivated in this one. I'm going with the Chicago Bears +1 against the Cardinals. I would take the money line, except there's really no value on the money line. They're the same
Yeah.
thing. So I might as well take them +1 here.
And you got spread.
You got spread, so obviously have to take them on the spread. But
Yeah, I know what you
+1, it just gives you a little extra insurance there. It's
Mhm.
literally -110 versus -105. So I'm going with the Bears +1 here. Arizona's been a really weird team to get a gauge on. They are very topsy turvy. One week you like, oh man, they're good, and the next week they absolutely pee their pants. The Bears, honestly, this is the last game left for Chicago before they go on an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. It's almost, I don't want to say it's a must win for them, but it's as close to a must win as you can, because losing that Commanders game put a lot of extra pressure on this Bears team. That was obviously a heartbreaker. The way they lost that game, I obviously had Bears alternate spread -2.5 in my video in that one. Thought we had it locked up. That touchdown was ridiculous. But
That guy celebrating, you just saw the end zone view. The guy,
yeah.
I forget who it was, but he's celebrating, telling the fans to quiet down. Then he's the one that tips it. Is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was tough beat for the Bears. I mean, that's as bad as it could possibly get. I just think this Bears team, and it's actually not the worst one. They play the Patriots after this too, but like the Bears schedule, they have the hardest remaining schedule in the National Football League left. It's crazy. So like, Chicago right now, they're 4-3. They're in a pretty big spot to maybe make the playoffs here, but this game's super important, not only because of that, the fact that the schedule's going to get a lot tougher coming up in the next couple of weeks, but Arizona's 4-4. So like the Bears and the Cardinals are battling for that wild card spot. This is a major game for playoff implications. I know it's on the road in Arizona. I think this Bears defense is really, really solid. I just trust the Bears a little bit more in this spot. And there is some sharp action early on Chicago. 49% of all bets are on the Bears, but 69% of the money is on the Bears. So some early sharp action as well going on Chicago here. I just think the Bears are the better team overall. The offense still needs to improve. I think Caleb Williams still definitely has room for improvement. But this Cardinals team is not, like I said, they're a perfectly mediocre team. Like a team like Miami, they beat like last week. Like that's perfectly in their range. But I don't think the Cardinals are like anything special. Their defense 23rd in scoring, bottom half of the league. Their offense is 18th, which is like okay, still bottom half of the league. The Bears top 5 defense and the Bears 16th in offense. I mean, in every metric, the Bears seemingly have an advantage here in this matchup. The only advantage that Arizona has really is they have a top 10 rushing attack, and the Bears are 14th against the run. It's the only area where they're, and actually they're not getting up a ton of sacks either, so that's something else. But the Bears pass rush is pretty lethal. So I like Chicago a lot in this spot.
Yeah, this is such a 50-50 spot for me, and obviously the spread kind of indicates that. I don't mind the Bears, but I think that there could be some, like I've from what I've seen from the Cardinals, I think they're starting to piece things together, and they undoubtedly have a lot of talent. Like when James Conner gets going, he can do his thing. Now the good news is that Bears rush defense, or the Bears defense, I guess, even to some degree, just in general, can kind of mitigate some of these offensive pieces, because the Arizona defense isn't all that great. So I don't mind Bears +1. I don't know, and you use this line plenty when I make my picks, right? It's almost a game that I might not focus in on, or I might stay away from. I honestly don't know what side I'd be on if I looked at this. So that's not to say the Bears isn't the spot that I like. In fact, I think that they're playing well. Last 3 games, 28.7 points per game. They're running the ball nicely, which was something that they struggled with at the beginning of the year. So they would probably be the team with a little bit of momentum. I agree that Cardinals win last week isn't all that much to put too much stock into, and that type of thing. So yeah, I don't mind it. I think that this is too much of a toss up for me, but again, +1, like I think I would think the same thing if the Bears were -1, right? So it's like I guess you get the plus number there next to it.
I just think there's going to be an extra motivation factor in this one too for Chicago. Like that, the way when you lose a game like that, it just rips your heart out. And I think that's beating Washington would have been a huge win for them.
Mhm.
Excuse me, would have been a massive win for them. And like to lose in that way, you got to imagine like they're going to come out in this game fired up, wanting to go ahead. They're embarrassed. They're down on themselves. You got to imagine they're going to come in this game fired up and ready to go ahead and win. I just like like I said, I think the Bears overall just a tough matchup for Arizona. Really
Yeah.
good defense, and their offense again, it's mediocre, it's average, but it's getting better. The Bears' offense is also getting better
Yeah, I
each and
talked
every
about
week.
Arizona hitting their stride. You could say the exact same thing that even before that loss last week, they had scored 30 plus points in two straight games. Like their offense is hitting their stride too, so that's fair.
And their defense to be like just to put one more point into perspective, like Washington's offense, I think we can all agree, has been one of the best offenses in the NFL this year.
Yep.
They only scored 18 points, and again, remember 18 points, and like 6 of those points were on that Hail Mary touchdown. So like that they up until that final throw, they held that Commanders offense, and
Good
granted
point.
Daniels wasn't 100%, 12 points. Like that's pretty impressive. I and that's Washington. I think versus Arizona, they could probably do something similar, if not better. So
Yeah, I could see it. All right, I'm going in a direction, and this is undoubtedly out of my pick so far. This is the one that I don't like in comparison. I'm looking at the Rams here for +100 odds. You take an alternate spread -2.5 for +100 on ESPN. They're facing the Seahawks. I'm still kind of conflicted on where I stand with the Seahawks team. They looked bad against the Bills, but the Bills are also very good. And the Seahawks have gone through a tough schedule here. Now, they had that really good win a couple weeks ago against the Falcons. Okay, 49ers beat them. They put up 36. The Giants put up 29. The Lions put up 42. Now, you can make a lot of arguments that, well, 49ers, Lions, like good teams, right? I'm still looking at that Giants number of 29. Now, it was really, I think, 23. They blocked a field goal at the end.
yeah.
And so either way, I think this Rams offense with Puka and Cooper Cup back in action, Kyron Williams is a beast. Matt Stafford is Matt Stafford. I do think that they can put up a number, and I don't know if one will have DK, and two, if there's going to be the consistency on the side of the Seahawks. So yeah, I think the Rams put the league, to lack of a better term, they put the league on notice last week, and I don't see them really getting much worse. My one concern is Seahawks are home. So who knows how that weather is going to be for the LA boys, right? And the Seahawks do have a really good offense, and the Rams have a bad defense, but I'm just not sold on the consistency of the Seahawks. So I'm banking on them having something in between that game against the Falcons and the game against the Bills. I don't think they'll be that bad again. That was obviously a messy, rainy night, but they're supposed to be a team that's used to that. But I don't think they're going to score 34 like they did against Falcons. So I'm just hoping the Rams can outscore them.
Yeah, the big thing I would be afraid of here is if DK plays. Now, obviously, at the time of recording, we're on Tuesday night. He is listed as questionable,
Yep.
so it's hard to go ahead and make an assumption here off of that. But I mean, he's the big key here because when DK plays, this offense is just a different level. Like
Way
the big
different.
plays, everything. Like this offense, it's tied right now. Seattle, it's around tied. It's 13th in the NFL right now. But they've had a couple low scoring games. If DK plays, this offense can score 30 easily. I obviously got burned in the Rams last week. I had the Vikings in that one. My problem with the Rams isn't like their offense. Obviously, when they have Cooper Cup and Puka Nacua, there's no stop. I mean, their offense is legit.
Yep.
But I said it in my one of my videos I did last week. Like their defense is still not that good. And in that Vikings game, I think the Vikings got exposed a little bit because offensively they're a little stale in that one. But the Rams defense overall 21st this year. We've seen like the Cardinals put up 41 on them. We've seen some teams really have a field day here. They're also really bad against the run. In Seattle, their offense has not been great rushing the ball, but it's a good spot for Kenneth Walker to go ahead and take advantage. I can't say I hate it. You have them, what, -2.5? You said it's the alternate line?
-2.5 for +100. Yep.
I can't say I hate it. I mean, I think the Rams definitely should be favored in this one. I think 2.5 is not a bad. If they're going to win, they're going to win by 3 probably or
Yep.
more. I don't, 2 points is a weird win spot for them. I mean, I guess it could happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my one thing is Seattle is this team this year where like they're very much, I guess to go back to the last one, they're very much like Arizona, where it's like you just don't really know what to think of them. They're all over the place in terms of like what they can do. Obviously, I talked about a lot like their first 3 wins. I think that was more about who they played. They played Denver their first game, right when Bo Nix was just getting started.
Yep.
They beat the Patriots, they beat the Dolphins without Tua. Like, their wins were not all that impressive. And then since that Miami win, they're 1-4. And it's not just they're 1-4, like you mentioned, 42 points to the Lions, 29 points to the Giants, 36 to San Fran. The Falcons win was definitely impressive, but and then they follow that up with 31-10 versus Buffalo. So, also by the way, just to help you out, the Seahawks are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games at home. I don't like to really help you out too much, but I do have to go ahead and throw you that out. I can't really hate on it. The only thing I'd be afraid of, in your sake, is this could be a shootout, and if
Yep.
Seattle has DK with Kenneth Walker and whatnot, I mean, Seattle, they could maybe squeak one out. I don't know, but it's not a bad play.
Yeah, I think honestly, even on that note, like I don't think I mind Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Nakua, and Kyron Williams over, even if it is DK and Smith-Njigba and
Yeah.
Geno and Kent. Like I think that a shootout might even not necessarily help me because I don't think either one of these defenses is all that impressive. But like I don't even mind the shootout. That's what I mean. There's almost every phase here. It's like I still for plus 100, winning by a field goal. The Rams coming off a big win. That's where I'm at. And like I said, it's out of the 3 plays I have, it's kind of the one that I don't like. I don't like it all that much, but.
I just think if there's a defense that's going to play better, step up, I think it would probably be Seattle's. I think it's just a coaching stamp. Like McDonald is a defensive guy. The defense at times this year has looked decent. Again, it's a matter of who they're playing, right? I mean, defense looked good against Kirk Cousins. It looked good against Jacoby Brissett, Tyler
Yep.
Huntley. You know what I mean? Like, I think if there's a defense going to play better, I think it's probably going to be Seattle, especially having the home field advantage. But like I said, they haven't really been covering the spread at home anyways. So I don't really know if the 12th man advantage is there anymore, like it used to be during the Russell Wilson days. But yeah, I can't hate it for the value is worth taking a shot on.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, we're going to move into the fade me round, right? Guys, if you don't know what the fade me round is, essentially we're going to spin the wheel just like we did at the beginning of the show. Whoever it lands on is going to make a pick. We don't have to follow any categories or anything like that, and the other person has to take the opposite. Last week I got aggressive. Speaking of the Rams, I took Tutu Atwell over his receptions. He played like 2 snaps. He literally got a splinter in his ass from the bench because Puka Nacua was a late sort of, he's playing, light up the green light, but nonetheless it works both ways. Even if we do get to decide, you're still at the risk of gambling. So Tasos, I ask you, do you want fade me this week?
Oh yeah. I have a
Okay.
pick. I have a pick I like a lot, actually.
All right, let's go ahead and spin it.
Oh, slow. No.
Keep going.
No. Keep going. Ah, scheisse.
All right. This is I don't want you to feel too confident, but I do not necessarily love having it. I was almost willing to see what you can get out of here and throw at me. So, in terms of, I guess, something that I'd want you to have the other side of here, this is kind of interesting, actually. We said you can't really we would have to do implied probabilities if I did no on a touchdown. Did we say that?
Yes, implied probability, yeah.
That might not even be the move. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Nope. I had an idea. I'm not going to.
I was like, oh God, what is this going to be?
I'm not going to do it.
I think you should do it now. I think you should do it. I think you're kind of a chicken if you don't do it.
This could lose it for me, but this might actually seal the deal. Actually, if I do end up getting this to hit. All right, we're gonna do it. All right, it's plus 150. This is crazy. I don't think this is the best move, but I just got bullied into it. So I think that's fair. I talked about him earlier, and it's gonna align right with my Aaron Rodgers play.
Uh-oh.
Devontae Adams over 0.5 touchdowns plus 150. So we do have, I guess, on underdog minus. We'll figure it out afterwards. I'll put it up on the graphic. But yeah, you're going to have a decent chance here at your side. But even if you do cash it, it's going to kind of pigeonhole you and you're not going to get the biggest of wins. And if Aaron Rodgers hits Devontae Adams, that's one of the 2 touchdowns I need from Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, a little double dip in there. Yeah, I mean, I've also fallen into this trap. I bet Devontae Adams over over half a touchdown in both of his games so far, and have been disappointed both times. He did get locked up by Christian Gonzalez, so that definitely helps. There is no Christian Gonzalez this time though.
Right.
Last week I thought prior to the Puka Nacua announcement he's playing, I liked that last week's pick a little bit more. I don't hate this one because again, Devontae Adams eventually is going to score, and but this Texans defense is pretty solid. I don't really have much to say on it. I don't hate it. He's going to score eventually, and this could be the time. But I don't know. This Texans pass defense is top 10 right now, 232 yards per game. They're not giving up a ton of touchdowns. They're 14th in scoring, so actually they're giving up a few points. But I think Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall would probably be the better plays.
Okay.
But he's due. I mean, he's got to be due eventually. I mean, he's going to score a touchdown at some point. You know that it's going to be all over TikTok and all over Twitter and Instagram that Rodgers and Adams connect for a touchdown. It's been waiting and waiting. I thought it was going to happen last week. It was actually one of my picks was Devontae Adams anytime touchdown 2 weeks ago on my Sunday Football video.
Mhm.
Didn't hit, but yeah, I mean that's what I would have went with. But I can't say I hate it as much as I thought I was going to.
I wanted you to have it, but yeah, you have him no touchdown. It looks like you're going to get minus 156 in American
Yeah, so
odds.
it kind of sucks. Like even if it does cash, it's
But
baby win.
if it doesn't, this has a lot of correlation now to my board, right? Because if Devontae Adams doesn't score a touchdown, then I'm wondering exactly how many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw. So we'll see. But I guess that is me putting everything on the table here in this Thursday night game. But for plus 150,
you got a lot of confidence on a 2-6 Jets team. That's
I don't know if I do. That's the problem here. It's like I'm taking a lot of plays on this team, and I don't know if I have any confidence in them. But we'll see.
My pick, I'm actually kind of happy because it would have been a spoiler for my Sunday Night Football video, just to give you guys a little foreshadow as to what I was going with. It's a Sunday Night Football play, but yeah, like I said, I was interested I wanted to give you that one, but that's all right. We'll be rooting. It's not hard to root against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets these days. I mean,
I know. True. I'm gonna be sitting there trying to root for them.
Can we make it though so that like this is the last? I think this hopefully is the last prime. Can we have no more primetime games for the Jets? Like that's. I'm going through their schedule now. Like they literally have had primetime games. Let's see, just real quick.
Bills, Patriots. That's 2 off the top of my head, right? Steelers.
Yeah. So far this year, Niners Monday Night Football, Patriots Thursday Night Football, Vikings. Was that a primetime? That was the London game, so 9:30 a.m. Then the Bills, primetime. Steelers, primetime. So and then this is another primetime. I mean, this is tough to watch. Like this is really hard to watch constantly. Like you're throwing this team in our face, and it's
not a good. It's not even a good team. I mean, even last week against the Patriots, it's like how I don't know. We're both Patriots fans. I don't know how they get
like Drake maybe being knocked out of that game should have been the death blow for New England. Like should have been over, and like somehow Brissett, who has looked like garbage every time he's played this year, not all the time, but he looks not good. Comes in, throws like 16 for 24 and gashes them up. It's like
and downfield, which we haven't seen him throw the ball past 10 yards all year. So wasn't all that great. But all right, that is going to bring us to the end of the show here. I like my pick. I like my first 2 picks a lot. I get a little nervous as we get to round 3 and fade me. But how do you feel about your board?
I like it. I like my picks a lot. I'm pretty confident. I think even the player prop, which I wasn't like super thrilled about having player props in this one, but I think the CeeDee Lamb one was like you can't get better data than that.
Yep.
Like I said, like always, I have some picks that I unfortunately couldn't get off, but it is what it is. Go check out the NFL Oracle. The rest of those picks that didn't make it in today's show will be over there. As I'm sure some of yours will be over there as well. But hey, listen, you know what? We're just I can't be mad. We're on a good run here. It's just the units, man. And again, I didn't use a double down today, which is going to probably come back to haunt me here because you keep throwing these plus money plays. But hey, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of H2H, week number 9. We'll see who comes out the victor in this week. It has been very, very close. Even though the record doesn't fully, show that or paint that picture, it really has been close. And I know we've gathered a lot of people that have enjoyed the show this year. So shout out to all the real ones that are sticking through, especially if you made it this far in the video. And if you are watching us the first time, we have tons of other videos here on the channel that I do myself. Tasos does as well. Tons of football content, basketball content daily. So go ahead and check that stuff out, guys. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.